Yo, 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 this is Nappy Boy Radio Live with your boy T-Pain. We love rap music. Just kidding, I am not T-Pain. I have heard from multiple sources that I look like Logic, though. So, let me know in the comments, what do you think? Anyways, guys, this is Metalrose. You're listening to Max, watching some gameplay by me this time, not Joe. This is a gameplay by me. You can tell because I'm wearing that ridiculous Rex costume, and you can tell by my username that I created in the 3rd grade. ZBeast87, everybody. Anyways, today we're going to be going over the top things that you are doing wrong in Fortnite. Also things that I'm doing wrong too, because you can see in the gameplay that I make some of these mistakes as well. Anyways, let's get right into it. First thing, you want to make sure you drop with your destination in mind right away so you can get to the ground fastest and deploy in a good spot for you. As you can see, I lag a little bit there because my internet is garbage, but I am going for these factories right here. This is where I always drop. I'm pretty systematic at looting these guys, and I have a good path laid out, so we'll go over that a little bit later. First thing is I drop right here. I keep an eye out for guns. I decided to drop right here because of this blue pump. Take a look around, see if anybody else dropped. It doesn't look like it because typically somebody else will drop on one of those 2 other factories. In Tenant Tower sometimes, but most of the time we see them in those other 2 factories. Anyways, drop right in here, open the first chest. What do we got? We got some minis. So with shields, you want to make sure you're drinking the minis first, and then you drink those fitty stacks or fat boys, because you can only drink minis all the way up to 50 health, but those fitty stacks you can drink after 50, take you all the way up to 100. Next thing, always hit those loot boxes. There might be rockets in there, as there was that time. Rockets is the one thing that you really want to have if you pick up an RPG. You do not want to be stuck with 3 rockets or less. You want to make sure you have a couple rockets so you can be a little liberal with the way that you shoot them. Anyways, guys, like I said, this is my gameplay, not Joe's. I am a lot less skilled at this game than Joe is. But yeah, I'm pretty systematic with the way I loot these buildings. I go through them kind of the same way every time because I know where all the spots are. I know how to go through them pretty effectively. And then I rearrange my stuff. I keep meds on one side and then my AR and then shotgun on the other. It's totally up to you on how you want to rearrange. It's all personal preference. Definitely don't have them all sitting in there all random though, because you're going to have your shotgun on one end and then your AR 3 slots away, and you're not going to be able to switch back and forth really quickly. It's not something that you want to have to think about while you're in the midst of a battle. Now, I got pretty lucky here. I picked up a chug jug. Everybody does it differently. Some people like to save up their chug jugs, not use them even if they don't have full shield. I personally, I pretty much do the full send whenever I get the chance. So as you can see, I'm going to take the time here and just send it all the way, go up to full health, because I wanted to carry around these minis. We'll go ahead and pick up this extra wood right here. Take a look around. No snipers? Probably not. Anyways, full send. You want to make sure you're in cover when you're doing this. You don't want to be sitting out in the open so some guy can get you snipped or just shoot at you in general. Any sort of potions or medding up, try not to do them out in the open. It's not a good idea. I've made that mistake too. Sometimes I just am careless and don't think about it too much and just do it anyways. But most of the time, I will hide and med up there. Now, as you can see, I saw a fatty there. I decided not to pick it up because I already have 4 minis. I like the way minis work compared to the fatties because you can throw a mini back in a lot shorter time than a big shield. So if you're in the heat of battle, you're able to drink that a little bit quicker, give yourself a little bit more health quicker. Now, onto these slurp juices. I didn't have enough space to carry this, so I just picked it up and drank it. That's what I do with slurp juices, is just you pick them up and drink it if you don't have the space for it. That way, you are getting, that extra 25 boost in case you find a guy. Also, somebody else can't come along and pick it up later. It just gets that loot out of the system so nobody else can use it. A little bit of a selfish thing, but then again, we are trying to be the last alive here, so we got to be a little selfish when it comes to the slurp juices. Now, as far as my system goes, I do the factories and then this house over here. That's not to say that this is the right way to go. It's just the way that I prefer to do it. Now, you can do whatever you want. Just kind of have a general plan of how you're going to loot before you do it. You want to be aware of where you're going, as well as any potential, storm changes. If the storm goes one way, you got to know where you're going there, etc., etc. Here's another slurp juice. We'll send that all the way back. One thing with these attics is you want to make sure you're going up here regardless of whether or not there's a chest. You can see there's a common tack right there, but there are times where you'll find, a blue scoped AR or something like that, even if there's not a chest up there. So if you don't hear a chest, don't fret, head on up there, and see what's going on, because there might be something worth grabbing anyways. Now, after I go to this house, I head over into Salty. Salty's my favorite part of this whole path of trajectory. It's kind of where my plan ends. It goes factories, then that house, and then Salty, and then we just kind of see where the wind takes us. Salty, I don't drop into immediately because it is downright pandemonium if you do drop into it. I think I've dropped once where I was the only guy in Salty. That did happen once, but most of the time there's a lot of people. You can see there's some fighting going on here. The hope here is to find, the lone survivor of Salty. That way you can kill him and get all the good stuff that was left over after everybody died. Now I do a little searching, check these doors. If a door is closed, maybe the house hasn't been through. More than likely though, all these houses have been through. It's just the way it goes. At this point in the game, most of the main areas have been searched through already, but I am still looking, in smaller areas in case there's anything that might have been missed. Now, as you can see here, I do hear this guy busting down this wall, and I think he heard me running around too. This is the benefit of wearing headphones while you're playing, is you can get that directional sound from where the guys are at. I wouldn't have known where this guy was at had I not had headphones in, and so that is an important thing, is throw on a pair of headphones. For me, Xbox lets me plug in any pair of headphones I want, and I can use them to my pleasure. Obviously, the mic doesn't work because I use some just regular old Bose in-ear, but I do get to hear what's going on. So you see there, I had the high ground on that guy. Building is essential when you're facing somebody, especially if they're a little higher up than you. Build up a little one by one, try and take him out. That guy was using an egg launcher. He was not the most skilled with his egg launcher, but he was also in a pretty tough spot when it came to his situation. Do a little bit of looting here, pick up his egg launcher, make sure everything's reloaded. That's another thing, is after every battle, you want to make sure everything's reloaded. This AR only had 3 bullets, so I switched out for his. His ended up having 22, so I ended up saving a little bit of ammo by doing that. Now, I made a mistake here by not pulling out my minis before I picked up that AR. You should pull out your minis first, because it made me drop my AR and pick up the extras, because minis max out at 10. So as I'm running here, I hear some sound to the left. I look over, and I see a guy jumping around. Looks like he's going to go for that fast shield up there. So we'll go ahead and try and take him out while he's getting that. The way I did this was I used the egg launcher, pretty much destroyed the entire inside of the house. That way he doesn't have any cover. He's kind of just out in the open he's just out in the open, really. He was being a little gomery here. As you can see, he just kind of stood in the corner. I was lucky enough to not even take any damage from that guy. But another guy came up right away and started shooting at me. So build, build, build. That's the answer, is always just keep building if somebody's shooting at you. Now that I've had 3 firefights in Salty, there's been a lot of noise going on. There's a ton of loot sitting on the ground. This is going to attract attention from other people, obviously. So I need to be aware of that. I need to shield up as quick as I can, because I'm probably going to be in another battle here pretty soon. We'll go ahead and loot quick. That Scar is going to be nice later on. I prefer the RPG over the egg launcher. That's just me, though. It depends who you are, really. It's totally personal preference. The egg launcher is probably more effective than the RPG if you know what you're doing with it. I personally, though, would rather just use the RPG and not have to think too much about strategy, because I'm not super great on the arc, angle of the egg launcher, as well as the distance that you can fire it before it explodes. Now I build around, try and med up a little bit here, but we are going to encounter our 4th guy in Salty. He's wearing my least favorite skin, the one that instills fear inside of me. Here he is right here with the John Wick. I take out 86. Now you got to be really aware of this 3rd person ability. So you can look around the corner without having to actually expose yourself. And that's what I was doing there. And he was doing the same thing. So you got to be aware that you can look around corners without having to expose yourself. That's just basic information as far as 3rd-person games go. I was a big Call of Duty guy, big Battlefront guy. I did play in first person in those a lot, so I had to kind of change my style when I got into Fortnite. And there's our next guy right there. We'll go ahead and build up. See, you always want to give yourself the high ground, even if it's just one little spot, just like that, because that will, that'll throw him off a little bit. He stayed on the ground. He didn't build at all. He was feeling pretty confident about where he was at. I decided to build up, and it ended up working well for me. Doing really well on materials here, doing really well on shield, everything like that. I have everything that I need right here. The only issue is that the storm's closing in, so I got to get out of here as fast as I can. So I was a little indecisive on the looting there, ended up staying a little too late. I'll take some damage in the storm, but really not that big of a deal. It ends up being about 7 damage, so not a big deal. There are only 11 guys left now. Look, you can see right there, one of your options is to build a giant base like that guy up on the mountain if you're either good or stupid. And he, I think, has a sniper. You can hear kind of his sniper bullets going off as he tries to kill people. Stay out of line of sight of those guys in case they're pretty good snipers. He is likely to die unless he has a launch pad, because it is going to be very difficult for him to get out of there without attracting everybody's attention when the storm shrinks. Here I see another guy coming up this hill. I'm going to go ahead and meet him on the other side of the hill. And you can see just how bad the bullet spread is on the game right here. It's a good example of how A, my aim's bad, and B, the bullet spread, like a lot of those shots could have connected, they just didn't. Part of that's me, part of that's the game. You just got to be aware of that. He was using a shotgun. I decided to go with the SCAR just because I wasn't feeling too risky. Build around myself here to met up. Remember, always build around yourself when you're going to met up. If you're going to met up, if you're going to text your girlfriend back, or if you're just going to, take another hit off that jewel, you disgusting frat boy. I can't say that. I'm in a fraternity. We are brothers now and ever. That's the start of our brotherhood song. Anyways, we're gonna keep looting here. Grab that big shield, grab that med kit, and head on over. It's about time for the storm to shrink. I'm gonna follow the storm all the way in as it goes. All right, now that we're in a storm, we're gonna take this high ground right here on top of this little hill and check out this building first, make sure nobody's in it, and then we'll go ahead and build up. Now, building up under trees is not something I enjoy doing, but I kind of had to do it in this case just because it was a good location to go to and I wanted to stay on the high ground. I'm just going to go ahead and destroy this tree right here to get it out of the way. As you can see, I try and make it work. It does not work, so I give up and destroy the tree. That's going to attract a little bit of attention, but I'm already building a base anyways, so it doesn't matter a whole lot that I'm attracting attention. Now that I've got my base going, I'm going to put some floors in and put some things down. First thing I'm going to put down is a launch pad so I can get out of there quickly, and then a trap as well. Because when you build these bases towards the end, you do run the risk of getting pushed by somebody, and a good way to get out of that is just launch pad away if you're not wanting to fight them. I personally, it's not worth it to me to fight them right now. I'd rather launch pad away and get out of there. Now as the storm's shrinking, I'm looking around, making sure nobody's coming up. The one thing I'm really listening for is building. If I hear building, that means somebody is probably building up to my base to come push me, and I do not want to deal with that. Here's another thing, these honing rockets, they do take damage, so if somebody's shooting at you with one of those, I think it takes about 100 damage, but if you just spray at that thing, you can blow it up before it gets to you. You can see that guy actually died in the storm while he was shooting, so he probably should have paid a little bit better attention to where he was at before he took that shot, but he did die in the storm while he was shooting the rocket, so at least we got the honing rocket out of the game. I think that was the only one. That's kind of the assumption I run under, is one person has a honing rocket, and I know that's not always a great assumption, but I just imagined since that was gone, hopefully that would be the only one we'd have to deal with. All right, now it's just down to the top two. This guy takes out his minigun and starts shooting at me. This is not my proudest moment as far as gameplay goes. I did not handle this very well. I was using my RPG, kind of reloading intermittently, not reloading everything right away like I should have been. He was just spraying with his minigun, which is also not the smartest move, but he must have known I didn't have a sniper. I guess I would have sniped him by now if I did. So he's doing that, and here's where I make the very poor decision of shooting myself with a rocket. And now I'm dropped down, so I got to build around a little bit. This is just poor gameplay in general. I lost 100 shield there, a little bit of health, and I also lost access to my launch pad, which is a big issue. As you can see, I'm trying to get back up there. Partially me, who's not doing a very good job, and then partially this guy's just putting steady fire on me, making it really hard for me to get back up to the launch pad. That was my main goal here, was to get onto the launch pad so I can launch over to him and try and take him out as the storm shrinks. So now that the storm's shrinking, it's really time to go. This is going to cause me a lot of damage if I get stuck in the storm for a while. And I'm in it for a second here. It takes me down from 85 all the way to 63 just for that short period of time, because those late storms will do that to you. Now I wanted to land on the opposite side of this guy's house so I could have a little bit of cover, and here is where we're going to find out if I can pull off the win. And I gave up the high ground there. That was probably the worst decision I made, was jumping onto the ground. I take him one, and alright. So this is what I like to call the Victory Royale. It is what I always do. I've taken this guy out. I've hit him once with a shotgun. I've gotten him down to 25 health. And all I have to do is land one more shot and I can get this win. I have never gotten a solo win before. That is true. This is why I'm partnered with Joe, because he's very good at Fortnite, and he gets all the wins. And I make these horrible commentary videos. Now, let's see if I can pull this off with the shotgun. And, alright, that looks like maybe hit. Nope. And I died. And that guy starts dancing, and second place again. It is the way that the Fortnite gods have willed it. I will always and forever only get second place, folks. And that is why, again, I'm partnered with Joe. The rest of the videos on this channel so far have Joe's gameplay if you want to check those out. I do a commentary over some of them. Some of them are a little bit funnier than this one. This one was hopefully a little bit more tips-based and gave you some good insight on how to play the game and how to not play the game, because I made some mistakes there too that cost me the loss. Anyways, if you enjoyed this video, go ahead and drop a like and comment what you think are good tips for Fortnite. Comment how you feel about me, being mean to me, because I do like to have a cathartic experience and read YouTube comments and cry from it. That's one of my favorite things to do. Thank you so much for watching, and keep chugging, boys.